Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we're going to look at some really cool Windows 10 and 11 debloating tools that are completely free to use and that you should be using today. Alrighty, folks. So with my last several videos and everything telling people to move over to Linux, which I still think a lot of people should do, or at least try to do, but if you're unfortunately stuck with Windows, whether it be for work or just personal use or whatever, there are tools that you can employ that will certainly get rid of all the unnecessary bloat and everything that Windows continuously forces on us with, consistent updates and just all the, telemetry tracking data and all this other stuff and these background things that are just like, well, what's that? Why do I need that? There's a way to get rid of these with these really cool tools. So let's get into this. The first one we want to definitely look at is called Wonero Tweaker. This is Wonero Tweaker. You just go on to their website up here and you can download it. It's an all-in-one ultimate tuning app for Windows 11, 10, 8, and 7. It goes back that far. So all you got to do is download it. I already have it installed, so we'll just go ahead and take a look at it right here. This is the tool right here. Now, and it has all of your computer information right here. But along the side here, it has all different types of settings and different things that you can change and turn off. Now, there are a few things you need to be aware of when using something like Wonero Tweaker. Like, you can't just go in there and turn everything off, because there are certain processes and programs and things that need to run to keep Windows running as it is. But there are plenty of things that you can turn off, like ads. You can disable OneDrive and Microsoft Edge and all sorts of stuff inside Wonero Tweaker. So let's take a look at that. There's all sorts of things you can turn off. You can turn off Cortana. You can turn off Copilot. You can disable the live tiles in the start menu. Again, just be very mindful of what you're messing with. Like, if you're not sure if that's needed or not, I would leave it on. But certain things like ads and different things like Copilot and OneDrive and Microsoft Edge, for example, here we go. Here's Microsoft Edge. You can turn it off entirely. Yeah, you can turn off Microsoft Edge entirely with this. Now, if you've turned something off and it's kind of broken something, or you can't find a certain setting that you're used to and you just kind of went all willy-nilly with turning things off or adjusting this and adjusting that and you're unsure of what you did, what you can do is come up to Actions and then reset all tweaks. It'll turn everything back off or on or whatever. It'll reset everything, and then you can go back in and change everything back to what it was. But for me, basically, I've turned off things like Copilot, OneDrive, Microsoft Edge and stuff like that. I've disabled all ads and stuff that are in the start menu, things like that. Very simple stuff, because a lot of the things, like I said, that I don't feel that I need to change or mess with or anything like that. So, but you do have those options of being able to mess with that sort of stuff if you want. So just be very careful with what you're turning off or on or tweaking or messing with or whatever, because sometimes it can mess with the system and end up making it unusable. So be very careful with what you're messing with. But if you do brick something, you can go back into Wonero Tweaker, and like I said, you can reset things to where it unchanges everything that you've done. That way you can start over and kind of retweak everything to where it doesn't brick or mess with anything like that. So now, the next Windows debloat tool that we're going to look at is Chris Titus's tool. So let's take a look at it. So this is Chris Titus's ultimate Windows utility. He developed it back in 2022. So there are two ways you can get it. You can either just with one command, which is right here, you can download it for free, or you can go over and support him and buy the tool yourself. That way it's an exe file. That way you can just download it and install it just like that. So that's a good way to support him if you're wanting to, but I think for this example, we're just going to use this PowerShell command. So we're going to go into PowerShell. We're going to copy paste. Windows util admin. And there you go. There's your tool. Now, this does work very similar in the sense to Wonero Tweaker, where you can go in and turn off things or uninstall things or block things or whatever. But it also has some really cool features in the sense of that you can also come in here and use this sort of like a package manager on Linux, where you can actually install things. So like if you come up here, you can see the browsers. You can click on Brave, LibreWolf, Chrome, Chromium, all different types of browsers. You can click on it and install. So like, for example, I don't have Firefox on this computer, so I could click Firefox and install, and it'll install Firefox for me. So you can see here it's doing it right now. Starting package install. There you go. So if we minimize everything, there's Firefox right there. Just like that. We'll open it up. Boom, there's Firefox. That's the cool thing. It's literally like its own kind of package manager, like on Linux, where you can install things and turn things on or off. Communications, there's different things you can turn on or different things you can install. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for, and then you can also uninstall things. So it's a really great tool. So if you come in here to tweaks, you can create restore points, disable all sorts of different things, disable telemetry, game DVR, location tracking, all sorts of different things. And he does kind of warn you. It's like additional or advanced tweaks and everything. So it's very, you should be careful with what certain things that you're turning off. If you're not sure about what you're messing with, I wouldn't touch it, honestly. That's kind of the big thing with certain tools like this that are very powerful. It's like if you don't know what you're doing, you could really mess up your system. So be very mindful of what you're turning off or on or tweaking or messing with. But if you do, just like Winaero Tweaker, if you do mess something, you can clear everything and then kind of restart and go back in and tweak things again. Now, keep in mind, this is just a brief overview of both tools of Winaero Tweaker and Chris Titus's Ultimate Utility. There are much more in-depth settings and configurations and things that you can do. But this is just enough to get you familiar with it. That way you can mess with it and kind of set things up as you see fit on your Windows machine. If you're not able to switch over to Linux, these are great tools to kind of disable a lot of the telemetry and the ads, and a really cool way of being able to install stuff as well, like with Chris Titus's tools. So huge shout out to the team that created Winaero Tweaker and also Chris Titus himself for creating such amazing tools that allow us to, take back control over our systems, especially if you're still running Windows. So even if you are stuck with running Windows, say if you're forced to use very specific software that does not work on Linux or has any form of a Linux alternative, like if you're using Windows for work, you can install these tools. That way you can disable like telemetry tracking and ads and all sorts of stuff. I think these are great tools, and like I said, I've used Winaero Tweaker, and I'm probably going to keep Chris Titus's tool and everything because it allows you to install and uninstall programs without having to go to a browser. It's very similar to a Linux package manager, like on Linux Mint and everything. So this is what I used on my Windows 10 partition because I have Windows 10 strictly for using Premiere Pro when I'm editing my videos. I'm still trying to learn DaVinci, and it's kind of a hassle to get it set up on Linux right now. But for the time being, I'm still using a cracked version of Adobe Premiere, so I'm still editing my videos and everything on that. So check out these tools, see what you can do to kind of take back control of your hardware, and turn off all the connections to Microsoft that you don't need, and kind of debloat your system. That way, it's not sucking so much energy, and that way, it's not slowing it down and everything. So check out these tools and let me know what you think of them. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.